It is all about ghee today in the sartorial kitchen. That's right, we are making our own ghee, or clarified butter, using that to fry up some butter chicken to make curry chicken flatbread pizzas with red onion and mozzarella. Then I'm also making ladoo, fruit and nut balls that I'm frying up in more ghee and drizzling with some honey and salt. So why don't you pull up a chair and dine with me? Everybody, we are continuing our culinary journey around the world this season, and we are taking it to India. So you saw from the title ghee. Now what is ghee? Well, ghee is just a clarified butter. Basically what you do is you cook down the butter on a low temperature. Lots and lots of butter. And what happens is the fat separates from the milk solids and you skim off that fat and then you're just left with the essence of butter. It's used a lot in Indian cooking and Middle Eastern cooking, and we are making our own today. I'm going to show you how to do this. It's very simple. I've got a stock pot going here, like a saucepan, and then I'm throwing in my butter here, and just low temperature. We want it to just kind of slowly reduce. You don't want it to bubble, you don't want it to boil, you don't want it to brown. You just want it to dissolve. And then once it starts to foam up a little bit, take it off the heat. And all the foamy bits on top, that's the fat, and we're going to skim it off. And we're going to be using that butter to prepare a few different dishes. Now while that cooks down, I am going to go ahead and prep some things for a nice little flatbread pizza that we're going to be making. So I'm going to start here with my chicken. It's just a package of tenders. I'm going to be doing a little kind of butter chicken flatbread. I thought it would be fun. I always just kind of do lamb or chicken and serve it with the rice, but I saw this non-flatbread and I thought, you know, that would be something very different. So we're going to just kind of dice up our chicken here. Now with this chicken, these tenders, you'll notice it has this little white bit in here. Not too appetizing. It kind of is tough and hard to get through. So I like to take that out, and I just kind of take my fork here, and then you get a hold of the white bit, and you can just kind of pull up using that fork to kind of hold everything down, and then it comes right out, and then we can just kind of dice this up. I'm just going to do some kind of medium-sized chunks. I want it to be roughly the same size. Okay, that is it for my chicken. I'm just going to move it back to this little container that it came with, perfectly fine. And then we can kind of let this hang out until we're ready to saute it up. Let's get rid of my cutting board. And rinse my hands. And I think our butter is just about finished. Alright, look at this. All that foamy stuff on top. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. And that foamy stuff on top, that is where the fat has separated. So I've got a little sieve here, and I'm just going to carefully pour this through. This sieve is going to catch all the fat. See that? How it's collecting on top there. And then we'll be left with just the pure essence of the butter. Yep. And I like to do this, I go through it a few times, back and forth, just to make sure that I'm really getting all of that fat out of there. And I think one more time for good measure. And there we have it, our clarified butter. Okay, so we've got our ghee, and this is I'm going to use to fry our chicken in. It's also going to help us create a nice little sauce with all the seasonings that I'm going to be using. And I really just want a couple tablespoons, enough to coat the bottom of the skillet. Just swirl that around. That looks amazing. And then I'm just going to dump in the chicken. Yes. Listen to that. That is one of my favorite sounds in the kitchen, is the sizzle. We'll get out, use my wooden spatula here. I just want to separate this out. I don't want it to kind of stick together because then it's going to steam and it's not going to fry. And then I just want to, I'm going to come through here and toss the chicken really quick, just to make sure that it all gets that ghee on it. So that's going to really help our spices adhere to this chicken. Now we can come in and start seasoning. Turn that just a little. So of course, salt and pepper. Chicken is naturally bland, so it needs all the help it can get. So I'm going to do a couple teaspoons of salt, about a teaspoon of pepper. And then the fun guys here, we'll start with a little garlic. About a teaspoon of garlic powder. And about the same of some onion powder here. I also have a little ginger. And we're going to do a half teaspoon of the ginger. And some gram masala, which is like a classic Indian spice. And I want about a teaspoon of that as well. And then we're just going to just kind of stir that up a little so it all gets kind of incorporated. And then we'll just let that kind of cook down. Now while that goes, I got a couple other things here that I want for our pizza. So I told you I'm going to be making a sort of butter chicken sauce. That's going to be like our base, like our marinara. So normally for this you would use like a Greek yogurt, but I've got all of this crema left over from when I did my fish tacos. So I'm going to use it, actually. This, it's creamy, and it has that kind of zing like a yogurt would have. It's not quite as thick, but it's going to get the job done. And then to balance this out, I have some sour cream here. I'm going to do a couple tablespoons of that. So the sour cream, it's going to give us, again, that kind of tang that you get from a yogurt. But this is thicker, so it's going to help thicken this crema here to be more of a sauce, not too runny. And I just kind of want to stir that in until it all comes together to a nice kind of thick sauce. And then we're going to season this baby up. So again, we're going to do some salt. A couple teaspoons of salt. About a teaspoon of pepper. And then again, I'm going to do some of my garlic powder. A teaspoon of that. A teaspoon of onion powder. And And then we're going to come in here with some fun things. I have some turmeric. That's going to give us a nice color. And I want almost a tablespoon of that. I've got some curry powder here. And I want this to have a really nice, strong, assertive flavor, so I'm definitely going to be doing close to a tablespoon of that. A little cumin here. A couple teaspoons of cumin, just for the kind of earthy flavor. And already it's smelling like a nice little Indian kitchen in here. And then I'm just going to stir this in. And then this will be a nice little sauce for our non-flatbread. And then I'm also going to continue my onions on cross here. I got a red onion. I thought this would be fun to have as another topping. And you can use any kind of onion you want. If you want to use white onion or yellow onion, shallots even. I just thought the red onion would add some nice color. It's going to give it a nice little sharp zing. I just want to peel off this outer layer. I'm going to do ribbons, I think. I think that'll be visually appealing. So I'm going to cut straight down through the little hairy bit. And then if you ever get the inside where it's yellow like that, that's where your onion is just a little too ripe, and you can just pull that right out. I don't want that on my pizza. And then I'm just going to come down here with my knife. I probably only need this one half. I can wrap up the other half and put it away for another day. I want these nice and thin so they crisp up in the oven. I don't want to be biting into big pieces of raw onion. That's no fun. Unless you like onion, of course. And I think that's good. That'll be perfect. Then we just need to finish sauteing up our chicken and we can build our pizzas. Okay, I've got my flatbreads here. I think our chicken is just about done, so we can assemble our pizzas. Yeah, that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Now the chicken you can take to about 145, 150, because it is going to go in the oven, and it'll finish cooking there, but you do want to get it about 80 to 85% of the way there, because it's not going to cook off in the oven. And I've got that off, so we'll just kind of set that aside. Oh, and it smells amazing, even this little sauce. So, let's assemble our pizzas. So I've got the chicken, I've got my red onions, I've got my sauce, and I've got some cheese here. I'm just using mozzarella. You can kind of use any cheese you like. Cheese isn't, unless it's like paneer, it's not really a huge thing in Indian cooking. So first I want to come in here and see how this sauce is nice and thick, which is what I want, so it stays on the flatbread. And then I'm just going to do a couple dollops here, and then you can take the back of that spoon, and then just like a regular pizza, you come out to the edge with your sauce. I don't want this to have too much sauce that it's making a big old mess when we go to bite into it, but I do want it to be generously coated. And I think that looks pretty good. Now let's come in here with some of our chicken. And then I'm just going to evenly disperse this, actually. I want to make sure that there's a nice bite of chicken on every piece once we cut this up. And then if there's any left after we coat both of our pizzas, then I can kind of disperse that. But I just want to make sure I have enough here to start with. And some of that ghee comes along, but that's fine because it's just extra flavor. Some of these little pieces here will kind of fill in some of our gaps. Beautiful. Alright, then I'm going to come in here with my red onion. And just kind of, again, you don't have to be quite as just judicial as I am, but I'm a little anal retentive. So I like everything to kind of even out. And you can put a couple pieces on the edge. And if you like more, you can always add more. I just want a little color, a little zip. And our cheese. And just sprinkle that right on top. Gorgeous. Oh, this is going to be so good, guys. I can't stand it. And on to our next pizza. Alright, I've already preheated my oven to 400 degrees. I'm going to cook these about 12 to 15 minutes just until they get nice and gooey, bubbly, and the cheese and all of that. And we can start prepping our next dish while those cook off. While our pizzas cook up, I'm going to move on to our next dish. It's ladoo, which is, they're kind of like little fruit and nut balls. I'm going to spice these up a little bit though. After I form the ball, we are going to fry them up in the skillet with some more of our ghee and a little honey. Oh, they're going to be luscious. So, ladoo, it's almost like making peanut butter. You grind up your nuts, but we're going to do some different things with it. So I'm using just one small container of mixed nuts, and these are going to go in my toaster oven on a medium heat for just about 5 or so minutes, just so they get a little color. It's going to add some more flavor to it. I just don't want them to get too dark. And then we will grind them up with some oats and a little fig jam. That's where the fruit comes in. Okay, let's check out our nuts. Oh yeah, look at that. Mmm, nice and dark, just perfect. Alright, now we're going to be a little careful here. Getting our nuts. Just kind of guide my hand here. I want to make sure the nuts end up in the food processor here, not all over my counter. And you can use any kind of nuts you like. This mix has its peanuts, there's some pecans, some hazelnuts, almonds. I just thought it would be a nice little variety. So it's one container of the nuts. And then I also need a little bit of oats, but I'm gonna pulse this up a little bit first so it starts here. So it grinds up. That's pretty good. Now we can add our oats. I want about a cup of oats here. And it doesn't have to be exact. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, but about a cup. And once that kind of comes together a little bit, then we can add our fig jam. And we just let it go. The oil from the nuts kind of breaks down and gets almost almost like you're doing peanut butter. Okay. looks pretty good. We're getting there, guys. And I also want a little bit of this fig jam. About a couple tablespoons I think will be good. Just to add a nice little earthy kind of fruitiness. And then I will pulse this again just to make sure everything is looking good. Once it's all incorporated, you can kind of take it out and form it together by hand. But you just kind of want to make sure all the ingredients are incorporated first. Okay, I think this is just about done. Yes, it looks amazing. So I've got some parchment out here. I want to be careful taking out the blade. And we're going to dump this right onto our board. Oh, that looks amazing. Okay. Now let's form our balls. You just want to come in here with some clean hands. And you can kind of make them as big or as small as you like. And then I just kind of go back and forth and roll them. They're going to be a little greasy, they're going to be a little messy, but it's going to be worth it. Okay. This made about 16. Of course, if you want more, you can always double the recipe. I'm going to rinse my hands. They're sticky and they're a little gooey from the ghee and everything. Now, before I fry these babies up, I think our pizza is ready to come out. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And let's have us a looky-see here, won't we? Oh yes, look at that. That cheese is nice and bubbly on top. That sauce is caramelized. Ah. So good. Ooh, I am so excited, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to set this to the back as well. We will let this cool down for just a smidge. And while it does, we can fry up our ladoo. Alright, time to drop these babies in. I may have to do this in 2 batches. So I want to make sure these get a nice sear on them and they don't steam. Yeah. So I'm going to cook those first. I've moved these to a paper towel so I can drain some of the grease as they fry up. And then I've got a couple things here to finish off our pizza. I've got some feta here, and I like to throw it on fresh so you can kind of see it. Just little crumbly pieces. This is optional, you don't have to do it. I just like it adds a nice little salty kick. And then we'll throw some on this one as well. Just a nice little across the top. And just go ahead and finish that up, why not? And some parsley as well. Just for a little color, a little freshness. I won't do nearly as much of that. I just want to get a nice little freshness. Now, they would probably use cilantro if this were real Indian, but I don't care for that as much. Okay, and I think our pizzas look pretty good. Let's slice them up. Alright, and I'm just going to come in here. I think we'll go diagonal and do triangles. Just like that. And then we can come through straight. And then again at an angle. And one more time. And I'll go ahead and cut the other one up while we're over here. Again, nice diagonal and then straight. And then we come back again. Straight. And one more time diagonally. Beautiful. Now let's check on our ladoo. Don't mind if ladoo. I'm just going to turn these over. I want them to get a nice kind of sear. You can see where it's starting to brown up a little bit. That's just going to give us another layer of texture. Patient. So while that ladoo continues to cook down, I'm going to come in here and get a taste of our pizza. Our nice little Indian flatbread. Doesn't that look amazing? Look at all this gorgeous color. And you can see how our sauce is kind of caramelized. So good. So just come in here. Oh, so good. So, the sauce, it's nice and creamy. You get the same mouthfeels as like a pasta sauce or a pizza sauce. The spices aren't too assertive. Just a nice kind of sweet heat. Only part cooking that chicken has allowed it to stay nice and moist. And the mozzarella cheese, it's a mild cheese, so it doesn't overpower these flavors we're going for. So good. Oh my goodness. Alright, I'm going to pull these out. And we'll throw in our next batch. Let's turn this baby off. And these are ready to come off the heat. Oh, just nice golden brown color. Now you could have ate them as is, but I want it to be just a little extra. You know me, I like to zhuzh things up. Heat. Now these have been drying off first, so I'm going to go ahead and plate them. Just kind of spread them out evenly. And these should be good now too. I'm just going to spread them out. I'm not going to stack them or anything like that. And then anytime I fry anything, I like to give it a little salt. And we're going to drizzle a little of this honey on here as well. Just a little light drizzle. And our ladoo is served. Grab a small one for now, just to get a little taste. And doesn't that look good? Nice and crispy, and just come in here. So you can hear that crunch. That is why I went ahead and fried these up a little bit to give them some extra texture. They're nice and warm. So it's almost like a chunky peanut butter, but it's warm. A little sweetness from the honey. The perfect little amount of salt just to kind of cut through the richness of everything. This is a nice little, it can kind of be like a dessert kind of thing. You could serve it as like an appetizer kind of thing. I thought it would go nice with the flatbread. So good. Well, I thank you once again for joining me in the kitchen. As always, like and subscribe. Hit me up in the comment section. And until next time, bon appetit.